So some of the things, it's not my desire that we summarize, and I wanted to share everything without skipping any subject, without undermining any small detail, but explain everything for what it is. Hence, it's commonly understood that diligence has to do with giving attention even to the minute of details. So there's a lot that we need to learn. There's a lot. This is where you are greeted. Once again, everyone, thank you for coming. I'm tempted to sit down, right? And I am going to sit in the process of the session. Scripture says, and Jesus sat down and he taught them. So it's a Jesus thing. So if you see someone seated and teaching, just know they're in the right path. They're in the right path. Scripture says the devil roams around. So we should reduce the roaming around. We should reduce the roaming around. How was your day? Right. I will say it again. How was your day? All right. Mine was fine. A bit lazy, but it was also fine. So today I'm just going to talk. It's not hallelujah, amen. We're just going to talk. Don't mind my slow pace. If let's assume that you are a soccer player, right? Or a rugby player. And it happens that you are informed today that from now on, you are a rugby player, right? You did not plan this thing, you are just told that from now on, you are a rugby player. And a pitch just appears and they place you and say, no, start playing, right? And they hand you the ball. And imagine yourself, you are in that type of a scenario where you are not really used to the environment, but you find yourself to be in the environment. And you happen to hold the focal point of the entire game. The ball is on you. And when you hold this ball, it's not just a mere holding. Because the main reason why everyone is gathered is because of this thing that you are holding. Without this thing, there won't be any game. No one is going to buy tickets. There won't be any televised thing. There won't be any coach training his people. So all these other parts of life are merely and simply connected to this one ball. So if it happens that this ball does not exist, there is no need for training, there is no need for coaching, there is no need for even to give this sport a name. Because what ultimately defines this sport is this thing you are now holding. And you are holding it and you don't even understand the rules of the game. And you have people that are experienced in the same pitch that you are in. And they see you holding the thing. So if I may ask you a question now, would they be at mercy with you simply because you have not grown in the game? You find yourself, you are now in the environment, and you are holding the thing that everyone is after. And the opposing team understands that if we allow this person to remain with this thing, this is our end. All the effort that our coach has done on us can be nullified because of how this person is skilled with this ball. So when you are just holding, it's not just a ball you are holding, no. It's a source of embarrassing the opponent. So this mere thing that you are holding can do a lot. But the problem is this. You are not aware of what you are holding. And because you are not aware of what you are holding, there are creatures that are around you, people that are around you, forces that are around you. They know the potential invested in this thing that you are holding. And you, the possessor thereof, you are unaware. So when you see everyone running after you, trying to tackle you, they understand the thing that you have, though you may not understand it. Mm-hmm. So when you see pressure mounting on you, it's not really because they are after you, no. But there is something that you have decided to attach yourself to. And the opposing team understands that this thing that you now have, if you can use it right, if you can be timely in how you throw this thing, the damage you can cause to the rest of the team is enormous. So because we understand what you can do with this thing, we have to try our level best to bring resistance. So when you see forces after you, it's because of a certain understanding that these forces have about you and what you now have. Now this has nothing to do with rugby. We're talking about salvation here. The moment you came into this salvation thing, you were not fully aware of what is invested in this thing. But guess what? You were already there. And you being here, there are some eyes that are looking at you. And these creatures, the moment they look at, the amount of fear instilled in their hearts is just crazy. And they understand that this kingdom that has been given to you, this is the very same kingdom that Christ operated in. And the way that he operated with this thing, he caused frustrations in all of our plans. And after causing frustrations, he went to heaven and gave this thing over to people as a sin. And the people have something that the enemy understands that this thing is not good, it's dangerous. This thing is not, we don't like it. We understand what it can do. We can be expelled from territories simply because of this thing that was in Christ and is now in them. But let us now maneuver a strategy before this person fully comprehends that this is what the thing that I have, this is the extent of which it can influence its surrounding. So before the person matures, let's try to work something on this person. So you find out that immediately when a person gets saved, immediately, it's very nice. Like the person is full of joy and all of that. Those first few weeks, there is this, you just make a declaration, a simple one, and everything is just flourishing. And everything just goes so well. But after that phase, it's as if the whole world just turns upside down. What's happening? This person has been given experience in the kingdom, and they enjoy the privilege without being fully taught of certain consequences of being given and trusted that thing. So you find out now that we have things that God has given us, but because we don't fully understand these things, we are fighting things that understand the range of which we can impact. And we are not even aware of how much impact we can make. So you now ask God funny questions. Why me? Okay. Why you? What is it that you have? What is it that is on you? Because if your eyes would be enlightened, and you would see everything that you presently possess, not things you'll be given in the age to come, no. The ones you have now, not ones that you should pray for to be activated. Stuff that the moment your eyes are opened to see what you presently possess, you would understand that, no man, that guy was actually right in bringing this funny treatment. He did lead to, he was actually supposed to kill me. Because for me to remain alive with this thing is a threat to him. So, you are a threat to structures, to systems, to wealth. And you have to acknowledge that. Nothing in this world is supposed to bully you. Nothing is supposed to dictate your ways. Nothing is supposed to frustrate you. And all these things are happening in your life simply because you are not yet aware of the things that are in you. And Paul, in teaching us prayer indirectly, he always emphasized three things: wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the reasons are these. You already have something in you. What is lacking now is the knowledge of what you possess. What is lacking now is understanding of how to use what you have. What is lacking now is the wisdom to rightly apply everything that has been given over to you. So anything and everything that pertains to life and godliness, by the Spirit God has given to you. That's how Peter puts it. Everything that pertains to life and everything that pertains to godliness, God has given you. So God, where he is now, he has done his part. So the part you have to play is to grow into using what you've already been given. It's more of, let's say a child is thirsty, needs water, right? Obviously, the way of asking for water is tears. That's the simplest way a child can ask for something. And you'd find this baby crying and crying and crying and crying. And they need water, right? And if it happens that I just take this thing and say, baby, take, in as much as the thing is given, it is not yet given, though it has been given. Because you look at the hands of this baby, you look at the strength currently working in the baby. Though the thing is given, the baby cannot open. But if I would give you the very same water now, you enjoy. So do we now blame the water? No. Age issues, strength issues. So there are things that we are currently crying over to say, God give me this, God give me that, God give me this. There has to come to a point where you say, no, let me pause on asking. Let me now work on myself. There are things that you should not ask for because of age. There is a place where you get to, where when you reach that state of maturity, you don't ask for, you walk in. It's who you are now. And there is no need of asking. But because you now understand who you are, and that understanding permits you to just walk in the thing. So, you look at the prayer request of Jesus. How many times did he ask for more? Because the understanding he possessed actually forced him to not ask, but to go and control. He understood the will of God pertaining a situation. And that understanding commands him to say, when he sees a possessed person, no, this is not the will of God, out. No time to seek the face of God, say, Father, is this your will? Do you want me to have this, or don't you want me to have this? He never had time for all of that. Why? He understood the perfect will of God. And because he understood the perfect will of God, he would say to a person, go into the next city. When you see a donkey, bring it to me. No asking. And says, if people ask you, where are you taking? Say, the Lord wants it. Look at the density of his authority. No time to ask even from people. Just his maturity caused him to understand things that were freely at his disposal. You look at people like St. Paul. Everyone is crying in the boat. They're saying, oh, we are about to die, we are about to die. The man stands up. And he says, an angel of the Lord appeared to me. In the very same boat. Yeah. Everyone is crying and an angel stands. And only one man sees the angel. And says, oh, wait, guys, stop crying, stop being scared, man. An angel of the Lord appeared to me. And he said, no one in here is going to die. Imagine, everyone around you is agitated. But your sight is so enhanced that what is stressing others cannot stress you. Though the waters are doing that, but because there is something that you have seen that others are, so when you are stressing, just know, there's something you have not yet seen. Every time you feel the need to say, but no, God, please, stretch out your hand further. You have not seen something. The moment you see, the moment, here's the verse that you opened, John 8:12. I am the light of the world. Imagine. I am the light of the world. No, it takes boldness to say that. Say, I am the light. Wherever I am, darkness is expelled. As long as I am there, light has to. I am the light. So in other words, when I am not here, there cannot be light. Imagine such confidence. That as long as I do not present myself to a group of people, they will remain in confusion. I am the light of the world. These are decrees you should be making. If you want your voice to be heard, these are things that you should say. I am the light of the world. When everyone have discussed whatever they should discuss, and your input has not yet been placed there, they are still in confusion. Your voice has to come and place a step. Light of the world. It says, when a person follows me, they will not stumble. They will have the light of life. Imagine that all the issues of this life, you have the light on how to resolve them. Any person who decides to follow Christ, they have light, not just life, but the light of life. Everything that has to do with existence, you are enlightened in all things. The light of life. But that is not my pursuit. I have to sit down. Like today we're just talking. We're just talking. So the moment that you got into this salvation thing, you became light. And situations will always be presented to you in pursuit to dim that light. And in as much as we've talking about this devil guy is getting irritating now, we should move on to better things. Because everything we've discussed thus far is more of the defensive mode of dealing with it. We have not yet touched the offensive mode. We are still yet at, because you cannot win a match just by a group of defenders. No matter how strong your defensive system is, you will not prevail with a group of defenders.
Yes.
So everything you now know is just how to defend yourself. And you cannot live your life on defensive mode. Always you are protected. No, there has to come a phase where you have structured your life so well that your defensive system is strong. And after it's strong, you now migrate over to now being offensive. It should not just be, oh, the devil has done this. There should come a moment that demons will sit like the way you are sitting now. And they say, yo, guys, that guy is planning against us. What do we do? Because scripture actually advises us to be more on the offensive mode than on the defensive. Because the one who's always perpetually defending is the inferior. And the one that is continually attacking is the superior. So if it happens that your whole life you are always defending yourself from things, you are the inferior part. But if it comes to a stage that you are now on the offensive side, because if everything that is happening to you now, you are always reacting to it, you are inferior. You have to get to a point that your life serves as what others react to. You don't react to what others are planning. People should react to what you are planning. That's authority. Where your life sets a pace for others. In worldly terms, you are setting trends. So, when it comes to issues of dominion and all of that, you can't tell me that you are in dominion. There's some power working through you if you are always on the defensive mode. When we look at the ball position, it's 60-40 and you're at the 40. So, and you have to be deliberate about this thing, right? Every moment, let's say you wake up in the morning, you have to actually plan it that today people are going to do what I want. You have to be intentional about it. And no, man, I've been following things for some time. Now it's time, at least 2 or 3 followers. And that's actually the will of God for you, to make disciples of all nations. The Lord desires that you set a pace for nations to follow. So if you still mahohe, but unit 1, unit 2, no. Scripture says about one promise to Zion. Says that to every Jew, people are going to run to a single Jew. Everyone from all nations would desire to be taught by a single Jew. And obviously now we are after that phase of the Jewish nation. The true Jews in Christ is us, the people of the Lord. And everyone in all the nations will have to run to a single Jew. So this is to say, I forgot, is it 200 and something countries we have in the world? You should have at least one person pursuing you in every country. So look at how far you are from the will of God. At least one person has to admire something in you. Globally. At a global scale. You can't have an enemy who's inferior than you, being influential at a global scale, and you who's superior. You are local. No. It's wrong. It has to be corrected. And the challenge that we've had in church is this. People come to church with the mindset that we are going to be prayed for. Right? And it's nice and good to be prayed for. It's actually advisable. But people have ended there. Right? And you'd find out that when people come to church, after their small issue has been solved, people have issues out there. After their issue is solved, the mission of church is accomplished. They can go back to their previous life. When another issue happens, they go to church, the problem gets solved, they go back. And this happens service in and service out. And the primary target of the average believer now is to get a problem solved in church. No one has a mind that says, I'm going to solve a problem. Everyone has a mind that, my problems are big. I can't solve them for myself. Let me go and find someone. So you look at how people are being groomed in church. Indirectly, they now have a mind that is dependent on the assistance of others. Though it is proper to be assisted, but there has to be boundaries. There has to be boundaries. And in talking about assistance, let me just off-ramp a bit, then we go to the actual thing we should talk about today. I won't take much time. If you find yourself in a position where you are privileged to help someone, don't beg the person to be helped. Don't enforce your privileges on others. If you see that this person needs what I have, and you offer it, and they turn down the offer, don't beg anyone to be helped. Save your energy. Because what is going to happen to you is, you go all out in trying to help this person. And after the person has been helped, there is a void in you for gratitude. And you are not going to get that gratitude. And this person will progress and will never see the need to mention you in their progress. Not that you help people to get your name mentioned. But when a person shows that they don't appreciate your assistance, don't bother. Your heart might be there and willing, but you will frustrate yourself. So have a caring heart to assist. But when you see that this person is not even mindful to see themselves helped by you, refrain yourself. Save your energy. Seek for those that are going to appreciate your input and your efforts. Because scripture says, he came unto his own, but his own received him not. And he did not enforce himself on those that did not receive him. But he went to far nations. And to them, as much as he received, to them he gave power to be the sons. So people that show dishonor to the assistance that Jesus brought, Jesus said, okay, let me keep what I have. But to those that are going to show an element of appreciation, let me fully invest myself in them. Because do you know that Christ can enter into anyone now? It's his creation. But he still waits for someone to appreciate what he has done so that he can now come into the person and now start to work. So, this is godly to do. You are not being ungodly. When a person evidently shows that they are not appreciating your efforts, don't dare try to even invest yourself there more. There will come a moment that this person will mention and say, but like this person is too much. In as much as you have done it in a pure heart, that pure heart of yours will be dishonored and you'll be discouraged. To a point that you are going to find people. Now I'm standing up. You are going to find people that really and truly appreciate you. But because of the previous offense you have experienced, you are going to say, but I bad too. Yo. People. And people that really show you honor and deserve your efforts are going to be deprived of the privilege they actually deserve, simply because of the person that showed you dishonor in time past. So every time when you see that this person, no, born again, yes, but gratitude, no. So I'm not going to waste my time. Have that mind. It's godly. Don't even feel bad about it. Don't even feel bad about it. Glorify God in fact. On the flip side of the very same coin, there are people who are willing also to help you. And you are treating them in the very same way. Because you know when we talk about biblical issues, you hear people talking about David and Goliath. And everyone already takes the default mode of being David. No one sees themselves as Goliath. Everyone always sees themselves as the hero. No one sees themselves as an antagonist. But do you know that chances are there is a nation now crying
simply because of how oppressive you are. And you always take the role and mode of David. Say, no, if I throw a stone, but you are the actual individual who's cursing the Israelites. There are people who are intimidated by you. Say, let's not do this. You're all serious. So, there are people who are willing to help you, right? People are willing to go all out to see something on you change. And in the same way that you would want to treat a person whom you disown, that is the very same way that your assistant should treat you when you show dishonor. In as much as, yes, we have spoken about your may I should come up with my own dictionary. In as much as we have spoken about this guy called the devil, but you actually have more willpower to cause something to change in your life than him. You can be a better adversary to yourself than him. You can be a better enemy to yourself than how much he can display his enemyhood. See, I should start my own dictionary. This thing is serious. You can become your own destroyer better than him.
Sure.
There can be a moment where he's not strategizing anything against, since he's not omnipresent. He cannot affect everyone at the same time. There can be moments that says, no, hey, and you take the role of your accuser and you start accusing yourself. Because you know now, the enemy does not have a right to condemn anyone now. Scripture does not allow him to. The works of Calvary do not allow him to. But a person can be given a mic and start to condemn people and accuse them. So you find out that the office of the enemy, after it has been nullified, there are people who assume his role and start to function in his office. And it's possible that though the enemy be defeated, you take the traits of your enemy and you start to use them even against yourself. After he has ceased to condemn you about that mistake that you did, you now assume that role and say, but no man, I really messed up. I really messed up. To a point that you are now discouraged, not because you have heard the voice of your adversary, but you have become an adversary even to yourself. After every plan to trigger sickness to you has planned from the enemy side, now look at the way you are treating yourself. You are now becoming your own destroyer of your own body. So, things that the enemy can do, you can also do to yourself.